There we go. All right. Well, good morning, everybody. Hey, such a beautiful morning. It's May 30th, and we get to hang out with Christy this morning. Christy, how amazing is this? We all get to hang out with you today.
I love it. I love being here. Saturday mornings are amazing, and especially there's amazing things happening now. Avea, so to equip the team so that we can continue to grow is a favorite thing of mine for sure. And hanging out with you, Craig, for sure.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, and for everybody who's in on the Zoom channel here or who is watching this on the recording, this does get posted in the app. So these do all get posted into our app under the video channel. So there's a little button that says video. So if you are watching the recording, it's great to have you as well. But, for those that are here live, and again, we see a lot of other names that we know that love to kick off every week together. It's kind of a way for us to be family, right? It's like how people plug into your love training, Christy, the first and third Tuesday of every month. It's a way for us to kind of learn together, grow together, stay connected as kind of a business, but also as a family. I liked what you said in the kind of the pre-show before we hit recording. You talked about the Alavea family. But also it's a way for you to participate. So there is going to be a lot of participation today. So if you are somewhere driving, don't worry about participating. We don't want to see you driving off the road. If you are hanging out at a baseball game with Mark or is Doug watching the ladies softball championships, get your fingers ready and add some thoughts in the channel here because I think what you may write might impact someone else or your feedback may impact someone and or they may learn from that or it may inspire them, whatever it may be. So we're looking for full participation today. All right. Did I set the ground rules okay, Christy?
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
ground
waking
rules.
everybody up. And if they're
Waking
not
every
ready for that, they should grab a focus.
yeah. I got actually my focus on. So I am focused today.
I have
So
my focus on, it's just inside of me.
nice. Well, that's where it actually works better
It
when it
does.
is inside of you. I mean, other than maybe the skincare, all of our other products works better when you do consume it.
Oh,
So,
that's a plug for the Inside Out event. I like it. Thank you.
wait, what did I say? Oh yeah, it is a plug for the Inside Out. That is pretty funny. All right, well, let's have fun today. We're gonna have a lot of fun with you guys. We hope you have a lot of fun today. First, let's just talk about before we kind of get into the what we measure matters concept. It will tie into some of this conversation, but Kristen, why don't you give an update on what's going on? Of course, we've got Branson coming around the corner. We've got the incentive. Any updates that you want to share there? And I've got the screen up. We can even highlight where the standings are at.
Yes, excellent. I have actually a lot to highlight, so I'm excited that you asked me. Right now we have more people registered 2 months out. So we're 2 months out, especially since today's the 30th. If you think about it, we're 2 months out for Branson. We have more people registered for Branson right now than actually attended Branson last year. And so that's incredibly exciting. That is evidence that training is working. You guys are focused in building and like you said, what we measure matters, that we're talking about building event to event. So people are taking serious, diving in and getting leading. Remember the whole theme for this year, learn it, live it, lead it, that people are doing that. Now, guys, it's not time to stop. It's actually time to talk more about Inspire. And really, when we think about that building event to event, I actually want to tie in both the incentive and then also the rank advancements that just happened last night, or at least the ones that I note as kind of proof that this concept is working and you want to learn it and grab it and go with it as soon as possible. And so actually, if you scroll all the way down, Craig, we can, yep, right there, you'll see that's the leaderboard. Precision Health and Wellness, Ariana Wagstaff, Gail Miller, Hadasha Ledin, I don't know, Layden maybe, and then Dana Smith, obviously Mindy and Heidi, and there's a whole bunch of names on there, but I want to talk for just a second to prove the concept of, and you can look at the other categories too, because it's so fun to celebrate everybody that's on the list. One quick update for everybody. In this temporary, it's just a temporary outage. It'll be back very quickly, but the temporary outage of not having our targeted health stacks, which everybody's been doing an awesome job leading with, we have, as of Wednesday, changed the criteria of that incentive, of that portion of the incentive, to instead of new targeted health stacks, new orders of $200 or more. So if you
Right.
have a new order of $200 or more as of May 27th, moving forward, that will also count to that standings. But Craig, I mean, you and I haven't even gotten a chance really to talk about this. And so this is what I'm really, I talked to Marlene about it yesterday. I've been talking to the 2040K about it. I've been talking to a lot, whoever will listen, actually. Um,
Well, these guys are
so now
they're
they're
here. They
trapped,
showed
and so
up
are
on a
you.
Saturday. Yeah, they showed up on a Saturday. I showed up on a Saturday. We want to listen. We're not forced to listen. We want to. We chose to be here. So
Yeah. So, and I
tell us what
know
you
this,
got.
even though we didn't talk about it, I know this will tee up what you want to talk about the rest of the time. But when we really, really need to get the focus of event to event, because when we do that, for those that are building traditionally, okay, there's different events and but if we're building traditionally, we're building really beginning of the year from focus to impact, impact to inspire, inspire to ignite. Um, and and so one of the things that's really powerful about that is most people don't have a long-term vision. You know, most people have a hard enough time knowing what they're going to wear when they get up in the morning. Thank goodness for all of our branded stuff. Um, and so really, and then on top of it, usually you go to a job where someone tells you what to do. Now we train you on what to do, but we don't tell you like you have to do this, right? And so to be able to then break that long-term vision into year chunks and those years into event to event chunks, then we start getting to where, okay, that's 90 to 100, maybe 110 days, which is really just a little bit over 3 months. I can focus in those segments. And then of course we know we get paid well, our rank advancements are based on 4 rolling weeks. So we break that 90 to 110 days down to a month or 4 rolling weeks. And then we have our weekly pay. I mean, we get paid every week. So we have pay weeks. Okay. But here's what I wanted everybody to understand this morning. Why building event to event and using the incentives to do it, going after something. I've had some great conversations with people that say, I'm not incentive motivated. Neither am I. But I think everybody wants to build their business and the incentive is geared around that and the categories that matter. So here's the proof. I'll get right to it. When you look at that list of the top five people that are in the incentive right now, um, all came out of something that happened from the last incentive or from impact. So the
Mm.
earners of the last incentive, all 6 of those ladies, I'm pretty sure, I haven't gone on to confirm it yet to look at the pictures and see, but I'm like 99% sure that everybody that earned the last incentive rank advanced. Every single one of them. So they were on stage at Impact, whether they understood that they were going after the incentive or not. They earned that incentive and then also were standing on stage as rank advanced. Their business grew because they went. So that's one proof there.
Kind
But
of measuring
then
what you matter. Yeah.
exactly. And then the names that are on this incentive tracker right now all reflect impact. Every single one of them every single one of them in the top five reflects impact. And here's why. Mark Malthanner made sure Susan, who is Precision Health and Wellness, you know who Susan is, Craig. You
Oh,
know who
she's
she
amazing.
is.
Yeah.
Yep. So he
Played pickleball with her.
Yep. He made sure she got to impact because she got to impact. Not only is she number one in the standings right now, because she caught vision, because someone on Mark's team caught vision, and Mark and Marlene and Dave, everybody's been working with that team last night. A month out of impact, 1 month, she's rank advanced 1, 2, and 5K was last night. She also her daughter rank advanced 1 and 2K last
Mm.
night. Lindsay, who was also at Impact,
Oh yeah.
1K, right? So I'm just trying to prove a point that events and incentives matter. Okay, so the 4 other names in the top five right now, Craig, all 4 of them um, come from Cassie Williams, and Cassie's aunt Kathy, and and Liv, who all of them were at Impact. Cassie and Liv earned the last incentive, and they were at Impact. Hadassah was at Impact for her first Impact. Dana was at Impact for her first Impact. Gail was at Impact, also part of Kathy Hammond's team. So I just want people to get, the sooner we get, like, what we measure matters. And when we measure and focus event to event, we're going to see growth.
Well, and even look at Heidi. I've never seen Heidi miss event. Mindy, I've never seen her miss event. She missed the last event, but that was the first time I've ever seen it. But sometimes people do have things going on. But I think what's also amazing about, you said something about the incentives in event from event too. As your business grows, you start to be very excited for people, in your group achieving these ranks. Like then
Yeah.
all of a sudden it's like, whoa, I've got this like real business going. And I don't know if we've shown this slide here before, but this kind of really shows this rhythm of these events. So if you kind of want to get the idea of how we grow this, it is from, we kick off the year. We did this already. So you can see from focus to impact to inspire to ignite. What a beautiful rhythm. There are four powerful words. Each one of them allows us to tie into the next one. This one, focus one, is kind of more of a virtual. We come together. Of course, this is up in Dallas. This is where we're meeting in Branson, and this is going to be in Japan, I think. Yeah. Just seeing if everyone's paying attention, not in Japan. This one, of course, is going to be in Minnesota. So I think that is extremely exciting. So that's awesome. That's a great way to kick off today. Anything else? What else do you want to share with to feed on them before we dive in? Because it does really blend into, are you measuring what matters? And you can see the correlation between the two. But what else you got?
Well, I think you and I have talked a ton about the fact that goals are gauges. They're not a
Mhm.
measurement of success or failure. They're moving us in the direction of the success that we want. But just because we don't hit a goal, it just allows us to reevaluate. Okay, why did we fall short? Or when we crush it, oh, I guess I need to, raise the bar a little bit there. But without, I mean, just like our targeted health stack, just like with the target concept of what we're building, simple as one, two, three, if we don't have something we're aiming for, we hit exactly that, and that's nothing. And so I want to challenge everybody. You may have never had anybody with you to an event. Just at least make a goal of having one person with you um, at at Inspire. And we'll talk on Tuesdays. Love Zoom. I'm actually either this one or the next one. I'm going to have some guests on with me as well too.
Oh, fun.
But we'll talk. We're going to talk more about, like, how do you invite people? How do you move people through a process to where they can make that decision to go because they see it as super powerful for them as well too.
Well, and you just said something, I think that's so important too, because it does tie into that, what we're measuring and around goals. And I love this kind of idea that why we started off today's call around this phrase of what you measure matters. And it's a phrase, of course, that was not something I ever came up with, but heard it years and years and years ago. And it's just always stuck with me. And it's, because we all know about goals, we all know about different kind of things and whatnot. And they're all important. They're all extremely important. But, the things you're consistently measure are the things you're improving because your intention's on it, your focus is on it, right? So, a lot of times in a lot of our traditional businesses, we'll call them KPIs, key performance indicators. And, sports people have terminology and the things that they're looking for. Well, as a social business entrepreneur, we're all the CEO of our own business. Of course, we all love and are, Sam is the ultimate CEO in our company. But, at the end of the day, we do have a lot of freedom in what we do. And you said earlier, no one gets fired. We train and coach and support and mentor, but we can't tell people what to do. We have no leverage to say, get this work done or not. That's what makes this so beautiful, right? We are connected together, but this is why sometimes coming together and saying, well, what are we measuring? And the company's putting things, and Chrissy, of course, is the company's head trainer, has built a lot of these systems and incentives and things that we can measure our activity that leads up to, then we can kind of reset at that event and then drive for the next period of time. And then again, we consistently measure. And I think one of the things that today, and I'll ask you, Chrissy, this, and I'm going to ask it to everybody as well, because I think if we're talking about being a great social business entrepreneur, it's more than just about building customers and building social business partners. It's also a reflection on our whole, right? Because at the end of the day, people aren't just joining Alivea, they're joining you, right? They're kind of looking at what do you got going on in your life. If you show up and you're insanely stressed, or if you're financially, so frozen, people connect to that, right? Or if like you're showing up and you're not in shape, or you're not feeling, you're feeling worse than you've ever done from a health perspective, or if you feel up and you're just not happy in life, like all of those things, or even your appearance, how you show up, people don't want to join people in business that way, right? I'm at a stage of life where we do get a lot of people pitching us for investment on different projects. And it's so funny where you get some people on how they show up, and it's kind of like it doesn't matter if they've cured the most important thing or have the best invention ever. It's like there's no belief that I'm going to have that that person has figured it out because, just how they showed up. And then you have some other people show up and boy, oh boy, it's very well presented and it's professional and it looks great. And it immediately, even before knowing about it, it's like, oh, I want to hear about this. And so I think on these measurement side of things, what you measure matter. I kind of broken them in that category. Like, are you measuring your health? If we're a health company, we should be where's your health this year? Have you been doing anything to improve certain things? And I'd love to hear, you know, what are some of the things that people are doing this year that was different from last year? Remember, we did a lot of training at the beginning of this year, right, Chrissy, about shifting this year and having this year. So has anybody been doing anything different? Have they been taking up any new activities, sports, new routines? Of course, CrossFit Granny, we know she's famously into CrossFit. Is there anybody doing new stretching routines? And have you been measuring your health, and do you feel like there's a shift or difference? When you talk about measuring your own health, what are the things that come to you, Christy?
Well, I think one of the things is sometimes people don't get into a routine or feel stuck because they either set the bar too high, and then once they miss it, or once they don't go do that workout, or once they whatever, they go, there I go again, I'm such a failure, right? And so making sure that people are checking, like picking something that they know that they can stay consistent at, and then they can raise the bar, right? So movement is huge. Movement is huge. And, depending on the level of somebody's physical fitness already, a 10-minute walk can be a huge start for somebody that's used to just sitting in their chair all day, and so it's not being discouraged and starting to compare to others, but movement is definitely a huge one. Hydration is a huge one.
Mm.
Making sure you're consistently and correctly taking your products. That's another huge one, because we can't encourage people to do something that we're not doing ourselves, especially if they're like, well, what do you take? And you're like, well, it's kind of hit or miss. So those would definitely be some of those right there for sure.
Yeah, I love what Mark just wrote, building my core strength with push-ups. Spent the winter really trying to get my legs in shape for running the bases. So he had a why around it as well, right?
Yep.
Look at Marcin actually getting to the gym regularly. Like that's a huge shift. There's a lot of people like me, like I don't feel comfortable in the gyms. I get nervous around them. So, and we've been doing a lot of travel. So I've become very comfortable with getting now on the treadmill. So that was a huge breakthrough to even walk into a gym with other human beings. I'm like, ugh, humans, you know, I get so nervous in that room. But now I'm become really comfortable within it. And I've actually met great people because of it. I love what Lisa just wrote, strength training, weight down 2 pounds, PB, what's personal best? Is that what that PB is?
Yep. Yep.
Woohoo, be a product of the product. I think that's such a great thing. And sometimes it's getting into that routine. You used the word routine earlier, but that consistency of getting in, like, what is your daily Alivea routine? And then, I think the other thing measuring is how, is there any shift in your current diet? One
Mhm.
of the things that I found once I started having more of an understanding that, well, if I'm going to be a great CEO to my social business, I want to live a healthier life. And so I made some shifts in my diet. And I think part of it was because I was just so dedicated to the Elevate product. Like every time you drink this, I know it's good for my body. It's nourishing for my body. It's nourishing a child in need. And then I start to feel like the things that I was putting in my body that aren't good
Yeah.
started to feel out of alignment. You know what I mean? Like it started to
Yeah.
feel like, wait, this isn't right. And am I perfect? No. Did I have ice cream last night? Oh yeah. a huge piece of ice cream cake for my brother-in-law's birthday. Did I feel guilty? No.
No.
But it's because I'm living such a cleaner life and I'm feeling just that much better. So, oh, blood pressure.
Mhm.
Blood pressures. Oh yeah, of course. Wow, look at that. That's amazing. Diet with our aloe vera product. So I think that's a great time frame to reset and say, okay, well, how am I doing this year? What I'm measuring matters. Am I measuring my health effectively? And I think one of the things also with health, Christy, and you're seeing it all over the place. I don't know what others, I know what sports you've been involved with, but I don't know what, if you follow any particular sports, but you see it all over the place in high level sports. You see it in the world. Mental health and emotional health is so critical today, and you're seeing people get mentally burnt out and stressed and things like that. So I think there's also kind of giving yourself your stress level scores and your happiness scores. And Anne has started a new thing where every single night we write down, or she writes down, but she makes me answer, what were the three favorite parts of the day? And then what are we most excited about today? And, we do that every single day. And it's just this like refreshing way of kind of, because what we could be doing is like, what was the worst part of the day and what was the most depressing news we heard today? Well, that would be easy, right? Because the mind works, it's easier. The mind just drives all the negativity. But if we're kind of focusing on the things that we're, that the happiness level and dealing with the stress and all of that, I think we shine as a social, even as an organization. Imagine if Alavea is like the happiest place on earth because we're changing the world, we're making an impact, but we're going to attract that many more people. What are your thoughts? I'd love to hear people in the chat room. Is there anything that you've done on measuring your mental or emotional health that can be helpful for people?
That's so good. Well, when you said it, all of that, I said, well, that goes right back to what you measure matters, because if you're measuring negative thoughts, that really matters because that you're going to move in the direction of your dominant thoughts. So you're going to move in negativity. You're going to repeat patterns. Actually, we could do a whole, segment on how then our neurotransmitters and our neuroplasticity and all that, all the wiring that happens with what we focus on. But I think one is not letting your phone control you, but having control,
Mm.
well, or your technology in general. Um, and sometimes that's really tough to not want to, I don't, for some people it is, for some people it isn't, like to turn your phone on right away when you get up in the morning, almost like who needs me, or what. And so to really take not only the nighttime captive, but also to take the day, to start your day, to end your day right, to start your day right. For me, I absolutely, my best days are when I sit down and open my Bible first and have my quiet time and do all
Mm.
that instead of running to anything else that isn't nearly as important.
Bad, bad, bad point. It's so true, right? Like I love that you brought that up. That's so powerful. And what a beautiful way to start the day, like you just shared. And I love what Nancy just wrote. Learning how to manage my stress and take very thought captive. You can't control the first thought, but you can control every thought afterwards. I've never heard it that way. That's really
Really good.
because we all know there's going to be that negative, it just happens. And to be able to like stop it and say, and Vince Bassetti always did some great training on that. It's like, no, that's not part of my vision. Thank you. Thank you, but that's not part of my vision. And you shift into that mental health positivity side of things. So, and I
And
think
that's
that's a
a
big part what people are attracted to, right? Like I want to
yeah.
hang out with Chrissy because you're so positive. Like I want to do business with you. I don't want to do business with somebody who's down and negative and stressed.
Well, and if you can't speak life over yourself, it's going to be really difficult for you to speak life over someone else. Because if you're
Mm.
not feeling, I mean, that's the whole like you have to love others the way you love yourself. If you can't love yourself, if you can't speak life over yourself, if you can't see how you were uniquely created and designed, if you can't walk out in the gifts that you were given, it's very difficult to encourage, inspire, and pull the best out of others as well, too.
And that's where, we're a family working together to help and grow all those areas. That's why being on these calls and hopefully people are getting some ideas and tips and things that they can do to grow that. That's exciting. So we talk about measuring your health, but then there's also this other side that Alibay is a big part of, and it's in everybody's life, is the finances. Some people are very well set up. Some people are very struggling. We all know finances create great stress. We all know, it can create stress. My cheesy joke in the old days, Christy, was the number one cause of divorce in America. Everybody says finances. I always say, no, it's men. And everybody always laughs because it's potentially true. But no, we know it's finances are a massive challenge for people. So if we're not measuring it, if we're not paying attention to it, so there's so many things that can be measured. There's great apps and tools. We've done trainings on this. We'll do more in the future, but there's really incredible apps that help train around savings, and are you paying yourself first? There's great apps that are tracking your expenses. There's great apps today that can help pay yourself first and invest for you, like Acorns. I don't know if does anybody use Acorns here in the chat room? Have you ever heard of that one, Christy?
I've heard of it, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, our Acorns account, we started training on that a few years ago. Most of our money's professionally, all of our money's professionally managed, but we started this Acorn account just to train with people to show like the concept around teaching around earn, save, invest, reward. This whole program that we developed around you got to learn to earn more money, save, and then you can invest and then you reward yourself where so many people fall in that trap. They reward themselves. It's like, ooh, there's a nice car I can't afford. Maybe I'll go buy it, and we know what kind of stress that captures on people. But yeah, I think our Acorns is running at 16.4% growth since we've started. Like, I mean, that's insane so it's really, really wild. So it's great seeing a lot of people using that. Some people using Robinhood, which is a little different than Acorns, but yeah, it's still a great platform. What do you talk about when you train with people when it comes to what you can measure from a wealth or a finance perspective?
Well, it really depends on the person we're talking to, but if somebody's more in a place where they're struggling, everything that you just said is like, let's look at where things are going out. I remember being so frustrated when people would say, well, I can't afford to do that in our former business. And I like maybe they couldn't afford to come to one of our events or they couldn't afford to do something, and say it's a woman that every single week gets her nails done. And I'm like, I think we could definitely talk about that. Because what we prioritize is where we place our money. It's definitely an indicator of our heart. So if we want our situation to change, a lot of times our heart has to change first. So almost every time
Mm.
our heart has to change first. And then as a result of our heart changing, our focus and our perspective can change. But one of the things that I love about what we do is we get paid every week. You can't
Hmm.
go into your work. If you have a job, you probably can't go into your work every week ever and ask your boss for a raise. But you literally can look at yourself in the mirror and say, hey, we actually need this, or we want to change what we can give or invest, or like this needs to happen. And I can do something by Friday that pays me
Mm.
middle of next week. And I think that is a powerful concept for people that are really trying to find a way to get out. And the cool thing about that is the only way we get paid is if we help somebody. Um, and
It's
so
beautifully
it's really,
aligned.
really powerful.
Yeah, I love that part. And we'll do more trainings this whole season, this whole year. We've spent a lot of time on health. We've talked about your finances. We've talked about a lot of different personal both development, but also really specifically how to grow your business. And I think that last part, the measuring your Alivea business, because we're all here for that. It's a vehicle that can help make all these things. It can help your health. It can help your finance. It can help your family. It can help your joy. It can help your feeling of legacy and impact. I love that. And I think one of the most obvious things we can track, what we measure is your ripple number. It's the total lives impacted through what you've been able to create. So just if you do have your app up, open it right now and kind of post in the chat room what your ripple is. And of course, the company is at almost 68 million. You can see there, Christy and I are doing a big push. Let's get us across that 100 million mark. Now, Ann and I, we're here longer than everyone else, right? We kind of started this. We talked to a few people, we introduced a few people, and so on and so on. So our ripple's at 60, basically 60, 66, 67 million servings, which is kind of mind-boggling. Ann and I kind of sometimes will just sit there and think about it, go like, it's the coolest thing in the world that we're part of something, but there's nothing more exciting than people that are, I look at all those people on the rank board, on the incentive board, Christy, that they're seeing where their ripple as, and we're seeing a whole bunch of people post here. I love that. Lane Osborne just surpassed 25,000 servings. Like,
I remember when he was at 20 and that was just a little bit ago. Remember
I know.
that?
Isn't it so cool? And of course, there's Susan almost passing the 500,000 mark. Mark's already passed the 500. Now he's pushing towards a million. Cheryl, look at that CrossFit granny. Like, I love the fact that she's going to work out, and the fact that she's at 2.6 million. So that's like, think of it, servings of Ace Mannon that are being then shipped to children because she said yes and shared this with some people who have shared it with some people and who built customers. And next thing you know, that's the impact. That's legacy stuff.
This might sound really obvious and funny to everybody. Maybe everybody will be like, duh, Christy. But you know what else I just thought of? You know what else it matters? Or it measures? It measures how much nutrition you've gotten in your friends, your family, the people connected to the people you love. Like it's not
Ooh.
only, it's the exact equivalent. So it's not only like you can look at that and go, that's how many servings are going to kids that would absolutely I mean, we've heard Sam's story about Romania, but like that are in desperate need of nutrition. But we know the testimonies of what are happening with our friends and our family and people throughout the company. And those actually, one for one, measure the number of servings you're getting into people's bodies here or around the world that need it to pursue their dreams, to grow in what it is that they've been called to do. And so I think it's so cool to realize that we're doing both at the same time.
I mean, I haven't heard that kind of correlation. It makes sense, right? But I haven't kind of put that two and two. Of course, like your ripples growing means you're helping more people and your family. That's really, really powerful. Well, and there's other things that we can measure from a business perspective, and we could probably spend a couple hours on this. But I think there are some critical things. When you're talking about, we grow this business by presenting it to others in the sense of somebody doesn't know about Alivea, we want to introduce them to Alivea, and they may become a customer. They may join a social business partner. So, are we measuring how many new people we're introducing to this? And we can do it in today's world. We can do it with people that we know. We can do it with people that we don't know that we bump into, or new relationships. You're out on the pickleball court, or in the gym, like I was talking about earlier. Or, of course, there's this crazy thing called social media. And we've had a lot of people have created huge amount of sales online. But are you measuring how many, what your daily activity is? What other things from a business perspective do you think are some fun things that we can measure? I'd love to hear in the chat room. Is there anything that anybody really focuses on that kind of their daily or weekly or monthly routine? Like, is there something that you really put intention to that you track on a monthly basis?
Well, one of the things, again, going back to event, is it's really tracking on how many people are you getting from one event to the next, because then all the activity, you can't get more people to the next event without doing activity. Like it does, unless people that you brought on your team bring people, yes. But for you personally, like that's actually a gauge of like how much activity did I get into? And I was talking to somebody about the other day, um, because it'll be the smaller number as that grows, the whole rest of your business is growing exponentially because you have to get people on product. You have to get people to catch the vision and have a desire to come and learn more or be a part of the community. You have to like be flowing through things to see that number change. Otherwise, if you're just kind of showing up every time, that's great because when your breakthrough comes, your breakthrough comes. But if you're working on getting more people there with you, Mark would probably say it right here in the chat, but I can tell you, Mark is having a whole bunch of fun because he had team members with him to impact that are now in action, that have caught a vision similar to his, that he gets to run with and have fun with. And it really changes things and it makes a big difference.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's amazing. There's some things too that if you're newer, so if you are brand new, there's some different things that you may be measuring compared to somebody who's maybe a little bit more of a business that's been built out a little bit more. So, I think we can do a follow-up training on this,
Mhm.
but if you think of all the different things, like, I mean, we can be measuring are you measuring your commissions? Because every 4 weeks shows where the last 4 week cycle was. So is that growing or is it decreasing? We love looking at the total number of people on auto ship or flex ship. within the organization. Is that increasing? Is it flat or is it going down? Chrissy, we look at from a company level, we look at every product and what's selling. We look at the data once a week. We've got a data report that we go through everything as a team, and we look and see that the overall sales is following up like in double digits for the last 2 years. These are things that we're all like, oh, some of the things were working, from the affiliate influencers, that's growing and working. From the traditional talking to people and building a teams is working. The Elevate Pros, we're seeing the growth in Elevate Pros. We're seeing that's working. That makes us all excited. So any other last things from, kind of, we went a little bit longer today, but to wrap up, like any other things from leaving here today, measuring that people can kind of get in that mindset to leave this week and have a fantastic week with Alivea?
Well, I think deciding in advance what your goal is for the end of the week, just take a week at a time, right? And the one of the things that I think is critically important is if you don't have a way that you're tracking the people that you're talking to and the people you're thinking of, you have to print off the tracker in the app. Print off both, print off the business tracker and then also print off the incentive tracker. Both of those are in the app under the business section. And so you can print both of those off and start filling those in and then put it somewhere you see all the time. You might, yeah, that's the business one. And we'll train more on how to like really continue to have conversations that engage people to a decision. But without those printed off, we're kind of scattered and we don't know where to focus next. So I would even encourage you not only to have yours printed off, but if you're building a team, have copies of your team's tracker so that you can encourage and help them move in the direction of their goals as well too.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's a great, and I think that actually just set up beautifully what our one of our next trainings needs to be, because it's great timing to do that. But I hope people got good value of that. It's a good time. Like, we know the half year point is coming up here shortly, but we're entering into June. We're entering into June here where we can, kind of get ahead of the halfway point and say, okay, are we measuring? Are we paying attention to what is important? And I think, the more we put attention to something, we know it grows. I love this line here: what you measure improves, what you improve grows, what grows creates that impact. And that's exactly what we're doing.
Well, and I want to encourage everybody that's on tonight, like, let's blow out my Tuesday, like have a lot of people this Tuesday on, because Craig, you and I know something's coming, and not only something, but a lot of somethings. And so this Tuesday, one of the things I'm going to talk about is we really have a vision of a lot of rank advancements
In
between
June.
now and Inspire because of some timing of things that are going to be released. And we'll talk about that.
Ooh.
Sam will talk about that more on Monday night. I'm going to talk more about that Tuesday night. How do you set your team up right now? And how do you set yourself up right now to see growth, to see explosive growth and build that into Inspire, bring a bunch of people with you to Inspire so that they can be inspired and then leave and grow. So it's an incredible growth time here in Elevate.
Truly, I mean, truly what you're talking about. I think what you've put together, the timing is massive. So Monday night is our June kickoff call with Sam Castor, hosted by Steve.
Don't
You
miss it.
Yeah, you got to be on that one. So put it in your calendar now. But more importantly, get one person, at least one new person, to join with you on that call. Somebody maybe in your organization, maybe somebody hasn't been active, maybe somebody you talked to before. Spend the weekend to get more people in that, and then join. That's at 7:30 Central Time Monday at Alivea.live. And then do the same thing on Tuesday night, because then Chrissy's going to go deeper into all these big announcements, and that is going to be huge. So Chrissy, man, it's so much fun hanging out with you Saturday with all of our guests here. So much fun. Thank you guys for being so active in the chat room. That was really awesome. Some great feedback. I love what Judy just said. She's going to start wearing some of our Alivea swag. We saw so many people post their Ripple, some great feedback. And yes, Mark did say he is having a blast. So I think you're right on that statement. So,
Yeah.
all right, everybody, have an amazing week. Can't wait to see you on Monday night. It's going to be a massive call. Chrissy, have a fantastic weekend. Everybody else have a fantastic weekend, and can't wait to see you guys have just a breakthrough week with Elevate. We're going to do great things this week.
Thanks, Craig. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.